Did you know that the latest scientific evidence suggests that humanizing technology is not about making the technology more like humans? It's about bringing a sense of humanity back to our work with technology. Hi, I'm Professor Cristina Gibson, a social scientist at Pepperdine University, conducting research on the human side of business. I'm coming to you from nearby Pepperdine's Southern California campus, eager to share my latest research. First, a bit of context. By the end of 2020, 71% of workers who could perform their job duties remotely were doing so. And large-scale polls indicate that 65% want to remain remote and do not want to return to the office on a full-time basis. As remote work continues to be the norm, managers and employees continue to struggle to maintain connectedness through technology without sacrificing humanity. My research teams and I have been systematically observing, interviewing, and surveying workers all across the globe, looking for patterns in successful interactions and business outcomes. This research has occurred across dozens of industries: IT, healthcare, retail, oil and gas, mining, transportation, even emergency response teams. These workers were located in 35 different countries, and many collaborated across far-flung locations. We have found that the secret to developing and maintaining the human connectedness is technology agility, knowing when to use which technology and when to switch from one technology to another to achieve a more up-close and personal approach. In fact, in my over 20 years of systematic investigations of remote workers, the findings indicate there's no such thing as the ultimate technology. Rather, it's the ability to move across different technologies, such as online meetings in Zoom, instant messaging, even telephone calls and face-to-face as new needs arise. About 2/3 of the many remote workers that we observed continued to use the same technology for every task over time, even when a new task or a new reason to communicate had arisen. And often the technology was ill-suited to whatever it is they were trying to accomplish. They relied on habit rather than being strategic and using the entire repertoire of technology that they had available. But those that did shift technologies over time to better suit what was needed were far more effective. They were able to accomplish their work tasks, they were more productive, and they were high performing. In fact, we were able to explain about 67% of effectiveness based upon technology agility. So how do you know when to make a shift from one technology to another? Well, our observations of thousands of interactions among remote workers suggest 3 cues that it's time to shift technologies and how to do so in order to improve the experience of work. Okay, so the first set of cues was very common. It was experienced by 98% of those in our studies, and it's related to cognitive demands. Technologies like Zoom, where our visual range is very narrowly focused, actually create a fight or flight response in humans. The more that we focus, the more trapped we feel and the more confused we might become. We want to flee, or we become aggressive or antagonistic, or we're simply just exhausted. In these instances, the brain sends a signal that what is being communicated is too complex or highly specialized, and you're unable to process it, even if normally it would be within your range of consideration. This is a cue, it's time to shift technologies. Increasing the field of vision, for example, walking outside with your mobile phone or having a meeting face-to-face can reduce this cognitive fatigue. Another solution is to reduce the cognitive fatigue of real-time synchronous communication and shift to, say, texting or email responses because it requires a little less of a cognitive load to respond asynchronously. A second type of cue is more psychological in nature. During your technology use, you may start to become aware that the other person or the people that you're communicating with are showing hesitancy. Maybe you have a sense that they're holding back from their honest reactions or emotions, or they just generally seem to be disengaged and they're not really responding or participating. These cues were present in about 88% of the interactions that we observed among remote workers, and the cues signaled issues related to a lack of connection, a lack of trust, a message sensitivity, or language challenges or cultural challenges. And our data shows that these predict poor performance, particularly poor creativity and innovation outcomes. But when trust is built and language and cultural differences are bridged, performance improves. The key is shifting to real-time synchronous technology with higher fidelity in these instances. For example, to a phone or a face-to-face meeting. That seems to be critical in order to create this turnaround in human connection. The added fidelity allows greater interpretation of subtle emotional cues, as well as can create some comfort level with sensitive or risky information. Okay, final set of cues pertains to organizing or physical constraints with the technology use. Some remote workers may even experience a sense of panic. Oh, our agenda is too full. We're running out of time. I can't hear you adequately and the pace is too fast. About 82% of the remote workers that we observed said that these were cues that it was time to shift technology. Remote workers often had the feeling of being time poor and never being able to catch up. So being more conservative in what can be accomplished with a single technology in a single meeting is often far smarter than trying to cram as much as possible into a single technology or single meeting. So if you're on a Zoom meeting, it might be as simple as scheduling a follow-up by email or by text. This set of cues also appear due to family demands, like the sudden appearance of a child or a pet or a spouse on a call. And this was a suggestion that it was time to shift activities from work to home. Now, all of this really shouldn't be a surprise. We should plan for these sequences of technology use to ensure that tasks are accomplished across a series of interactions with different technologies. So in summary, our comprehensive program of research indicates that with these cues in mind, we can all develop greater technology agility. And with this agility, we are better able to humanize our technology use.